Universal Studio Store is expanding. The Incredibles house is becoming a reality, and we're going to talk about how you guys are treating scare actors. This is your theme park news for the week of September 19th. You know, this week's show poses the question, how can I be both here behind the desk and enjoying the Orlando parks at the same time? Magic, that's how. So maybe we go do some headlines. Universal Orlando's Studio Store will be expanding in 2025, adding both a Harry Potter and a Super Nintendo World expansion to City Walk's merch spot. The new Wizarding World section will have all new theming and merchandise from Hogsmeade, Diagon Alley, and the brand new Ministry of Magic opening next year alongside Epic Universe. The exciting news here is that for the first time, guests can grab a butterbeer outside of the parks. No more running all the way into Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios to get your diabetes in a cup. Then run next door and grab a few voodoo donuts and guarantee you lapse into a sugar coma. Super Nintendo World is going to offer all kinds of Mario, Donkey Kong, and your favorite Nintendo characters plastered on all kinds of plush and plastic. Unless your favorite Nintendo character is Kid Icarus, which means you're probably too old to enjoy nice things. Go yell at some kids about how gaming was back in your day and let them buy that Princess Peach parasol without having you talk nonsense about their princess being in another castle. Is this example very specific to me? Is this semi-autobiographical? You're semi-biographical! Got him. More details about both store expansions are coming soon, but until then, expect both expansions to open next year. Disney is building a real-life house based on the par's mid-century modern superhero home from Pixar's The Incredibles. Holy crap, two things that I love. The Incredibles, mid-century modern architecture, colliding into a kamikaze of style and taste. I've been incredibly neutral about Catino, the first story living community that Disney is building in Palm Springs, but seeing this, it made me look into retiring to the desert. Usually I'm just known for retiring to the dessert. So this is a way different take for me. Also, I don't make nearly as much money as I'd need to actually make this happen, so I should probably just stick to desserts. The two-story house will be a multifunctional space for club members to rent out for events and even overnight stays. You know, I once lived in a community with one of these clubhouses. It smelled like mothballs and cheese. It had a one-lane bowling alley where you had to set the pins up by hand. There was also a giant TV. Well, there was a giant TV. There was the space where a giant TV had been before it was stolen and then never replaced. I guess what I'm trying to say is that every community can tell a story. It's just probably better if a Disney community is telling it. The design team is adapting a ton of the home's iconic features. Floor-to-ceiling windows, beautiful rock work, elevated patio, and a beautiful view of Catino Bay, a water feature that will have the clearest turquoise waters with Crystal Lagoons technology, TM. My community had a beautiful view of a man-made lake with a discarded tire floating in it. I don't think there was any technology behind the floating tire, just laziness on the part of the maintenance team to remove it. Eventually, a family of birds nested in it, and it became a federally protected water tire, so it couldn't be removed. I mean, not all magic is Disney magic. Florida's biggest Christian music festival returns to Universal Orlando Resort next January. To be fair, it's also the only Christian music festival that I even know about, so as far as I'm concerned, it could be the world's biggest Christian music festival, and I wouldn't know it. I accidentally went to the parks during Rock the Universe this year, and wow, it was crowded. My thought was, hey, let's go to Universal in January when all the crowds have died down and the kids are back to school, and which date did I choose? Rock the Universe weekend. I would have rather gone to a Six Flags park than go during that crowded event. And I don't want to go to a Six Flags park. Anyway, next year's event will be happening January 24th and 25th, so if you like Christian music festivals, then go ahead and book now. If you do not like Christian music festivals, then go do something else that weekend, you heathen. The Universal Orlando hotels have released a schedule of upcoming fall events, and if you like beer, food, and music, then there's going to be something for you. If you hate these things, then please take to Reddit and scream into the void about how much you hate all of these things. At Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort, Jake's Beer Festival returns on Friday, October 4th and features more than 50 craft beers and hard seltzers. You know, I once drank 50 craft beers and forgot my name for a few days, so I suggest just sampling a few of them. That's a pro tip from me to you. There's also food on tap. I mean, not literally. You shouldn't be eating any solid food that sprays out of a tap. Chicken and waffles, porterbraise short ribs, and German chocolate stout cake are looking like they're going to be on the menu. Portofino Bay has Harbor Nights La Dolce Vita. That's Italian. It's so European. Live music and dancing joins Italian-inspired food and wines on October 18th. No word on whether the music and dancing is also Italian-inspired, but you gotta think. Velvet Unplugged is happening at Hard Rock on November 22nd, this year featuring British band BB Mac. I had to Google them to see how to pronounce that, but I still have no idea, so I'm just gonna go with BB Mac. Anyway, they've sold over 3 million albums worldwide, while my last video did 37. That's not million, that's 37 total views. So they're doing better than me, so go see them at the Hard Rock, where I won't be performing. Or even staying, because I can only afford Sapphire Falls. If you're aspiring to be successful, know that 37 video views only gets you Sapphire Falls. Also, I'm probably not understanding how metrics work if I'm benchmarking against Universal hotels I stay in. This isn't really a news item, but this scare from Universal Beijing has been living in my head all week. Look at it. I think I figured out how they did it. So, I think it's a fish man. It's a man born with gills instead of lungs. You know, good on them for finding and then employing an actual fish man. Also, this scare too. I keep expecting this to happen in my bathroom, but nope, it's a normal bathroom. So far. As I was popping around the social medias, I came across this post in a Halloween Horror Nights group on Facebook. It's from an anonymous member, and it's a desperate plea from scare actors. It brings up some great points, issues I've been experiencing more and more. As someone who knows haunt actors, and is even married to one, I'm intimately aware of the dangers of scaring others for their entertainment. And that's the word that should be stressed here. They're doing it for our entertainment. Scare acting is hard work. It's physically demanding. It can be mentally exhausting. It's all of the hardest parts of stage acting, but with the added stress of the ever-present danger of legitimate violence. Guests come in expecting to come face to face with living monsters, but in reality, it's those very guests that can quickly and easily turn into villainous horrors. And that was horrors. Sometimes that word comes out sounding like horrors. I apologize. A few weeks ago, I attended Howlow Scream and was appalled at the behaviors exhibited by some of the guests. A lot of this was from the younger crowd, but that shouldn't excuse it at all. Sure, you make a lot of mistakes when you're young, but it's never too early to exhibit a healthy amount of empathy. In one of these houses, I was behind a group of teenagers that were punching props, punching each other, wrestling, all of which was a clear and present danger to every actor that was working that night. It's disgusting, so much so that I'm dragging out the soapbox and addressing this desperate plea in an attempt to hopefully increase the footprint and in some way help spread the message that it's not okay to act like jerks just because you and your friends find it funny. If you're the person that wrote this and are watching, please let me know. I'd love to talk to you about your experiences a little more, and you reach out to me anonymously. Let's take a look at the post. Please walk single file. We know you want to hold hands and walk next to each other, but the houses, props, effects, and scares are designed around the conga line. As I was making a documentary about Red Vein, a haunted house in Richmond, Virginia, I got to spend a lot of time seeing how houses were made. I also got to interview a few of the best haunted house designers in the country. These houses and scares are meticulously planned out. It's not just a random collection of props and monsters. It's all designed around guest flow. And if you as a guest are actively trying to circumvent the intended experience, not only is it going to suck for you, it's also going to suck for those actors that, and this is the most important thing to know about scare actors, are only there to entertain you. You're not cool because you're trying to have an anti-experience. You aren't an alternative comic. Go with it. Enjoy the house the way it was intended to be experienced. Please stop pointing at the boo holes. If your arm is extended and we are in a blind position, if we jump out into that, our face gets scratched or our eyes get stabbed. Plus, you are ruining the element of surprise for guests around you that don't know where we are. This really piggybacks off of the last point. It's dangerous and you're ruining for others. I think a lot of these can be summed up by saying it's not about you. I know that's hard to get past, but you're not the center of this experience. We see this a lot these days. Audiences trying to insert themselves into stand-up comedy shows by heckling, loud talking at concerts. Yes, everyone wants you to have a good time, but not at the expense of someone else's good time. Usually, those that are disruptive aren't entertaining people no matter how hard they try. If you want to be part of the show, then go join and become a haunt actor. They're in short supply, and you'll gain a perspective that will stick with you forever. For the love of the Pumpkin Lord, supervise your teens. They are hurting us. They are assaulting us. People are quitting over it. The teens are creating an environment inside the houses that is breaking props, damaging sets, and ruining the experience for other guests. This one is huge and self-explanatory. Watch your kids. Instill them with empathy. But also be aware that there's going to be peer pressure to act out, and they need to know that they don't have to join into such barbaric behavior. And if you're out there thinking that kids will be kids, well, yeah, and that's a problem. I'll take it one step further and say that there needs to be no tolerance when it comes to this teen aggression. Let's clamp down on it. And if that means chaperone policies to cut down on unintended minors, then that's how it should be. Don't let the greed of pursuing teenage dollars get in the way of the health and safety of your staff. Stop smoking weed, vaping in the houses. Yeah, come on, just knock it off. We get it, you have an addiction. It can wait a few minutes. I was a smoker. I could wait a few minutes. And I'm sure there are a ton of people that want to say, who cares? We're just adding more smells and smoke to the house. But it does matter. On a show level, you're telling the designers that you don't care about their work, that you don't care about the environment that they're creating. On a personal level, you have no idea what allergies those around you suffer from. If you're high and you punch a scare actor because you get a little punchy when you're high, then you're a bad person. You just suck as a person. Speaking of, if you know you're a reactive puncher, put your hands inside your shirt. I'll take it one step further. If you know you're a reactive puncher, then don't go. I think you guys would be amazed at how common this is. Scare actors get punched all the time. I have met very few that haven't been punched. Are there accidents? Sure. These are highly charged emotional situations that we're all entering into. But it shouldn't become the norm. Do the right thing here, and if you are someone that punches out reactively, then this isn't going to be the environment for you, unfortunately. Or if you really want to have these experiences, then work on your issues. Get some therapy if it's that important. You might even fix some things you didn't know need fixing. The anonymous poster goes on to list some less important things, but some of these I would say are important, just not as much from a safety standpoint. If you don't scare easily, but still enjoy our scares, a thumbs up or a little clap or verbal praise goes a long way. I am a huge advocate of this one. Nothing scares Lauren anymore, but she still loves the art of the scare. If I do catch a scare, I will be the first to say, hey, you actually got me. Or even if I just see something amazing, I like to tell them. At the end of the day, these monsters, just like a Scooby-Doo villain, are people. This is their craft, and they really, really appreciate when a guest recognizes good work. Don't be afraid to say it. They aren't going to break character, but they will hear you, and it's going to make all of their hard effort worth it in the end. This praise adds up over time, and since you don't know what most people are going through in their lives, this could be a major boost to their self-esteem. Or even that small push that gets them through the day and gives them strength to keep working through whatever challenges they're facing at the time. Kindness and appreciation are always welcome, even in a horror environment. Please turn off glowing and blinking and lighted things. I'll add to this one too. Leave your phones in your pocket. I usually have a big camera on my hip, and that's where it stays, completely off while I'm enjoying the house. There are a ton of other house walkthroughs on YouTube, and I guarantee you, there will be nothing special or unique about yours. I struggle with this one too, because I know that there's a potential to get a bunch of views from very low effort. But that's where you need to elevate your content and find another way besides filming inside the houses. Do a review after you walk through. Do a house ranking. All of these will be unique to you and your perspective, and doesn't involve spoiling the experience for others because you want to record on your phone. In fact, try to be present and active with your walkthrough. Have fun with the experience. Scream and react and be surprised without looking at it as content. Be there in the moment purely for yourself. I guarantee you that it will lead to more enjoyment. That's why you're there in the first place. Just in general, please try to be nice. We are still people. People that put a ton of effort into making this event happen for you for the love of it. Please remember that we are still humans with emotions behind the masks, and we are still doing a job at the very base of it. When you tease, taunt, or are generally awful to us, it hurts. Nothing is less fun than crying behind a mask while trying to keep scaring so guests can still have fun. I can't add to that. It's straight from a scare actor working the busiest and most attended Halloween event in the world. They do it for the passion. Even if that's something that sounds foreign, they do it for the passion of scaring the living crap out of you. And this doesn't just apply for horror nights. This applies to every Halloween event, be it corporate theme park, down to the smallest neighborhood garage haunt. I assure you that they aren't doing it for the money. They're doing it purely for love. Love of that fleeting moment when they can stalk their prey, see them coming, lock eyes with them as they jump out from the shadows to deliver a scare. It's a connection that lasts only seconds, but leaves its mark on them both as the guest leaves laughing while the scare actor returns to the dark, waiting for the next to come through. You don't have to be into horror to understand passion. Next time you're nervously awaiting to go into a haunt, while loud, otherworldly noises are blaring from inside, fog is slowly drifting past your feet, that unmistakable smell of latex and smoke machine is entering your nose. The hairs on the back of your neck are slowly rising in anticipatory anxiety. Just take a moment to think about the scare actors, about their love of the dark art of scaring, about all of the work that has gone into this moment. Think about it and appreciate it. Because without these actors, you wouldn't be walking through a house full of the dead. You'd just be walking through a house without life. Well, we're definitely ending on a weird tone this week. I feel like I should make a joke or something. Oh, I've got one. What do you call a ghost without a car? I don't know. I really thought I'd figure out a funny punchline to that setup, but it didn't happen. And, now we're all just sitting here staring at each other awkwardly. You know what? I gotta go. I gotta catch a plane. See you guys next week.